If you're on the market for a Prebuilt PC, you came to the right video. I will show you 7 different gaming Prebuilt PCs that will get you excellent gaming performance. And don't worry, if you're a beginner and you don't understand about components, I will try to explain as simple as possible so you can understand, and I will also explain what each of these PCs are capable of running. I will go from $480 all the way up to $3,000, but in the video description you will have all of these PCs and also some bonus ones in case you have more than $3,000 or you have a different budget. So these are the best first half 2023 gaming PCs. That being said, let's start. With the first one, we have a PC that's $490, which is really cheap, and it's the Big Tooth 15L. It has the i5-12400, which is a great CPU, and the Intel Arc A380. This is a really budget GPU, and you will not be able to get the highest FPS at 1080p or anything like that, but if you want a functional PC that is actually going to get you a really decent gaming performance for the price, I think this one is the best one. You get 8 gigs of RAM on dual channel, meaning that you get 2 sticks of 4 gigs. If you just want a PC that can run the easy titles like Valorant, CSGO, and Fortnite, this will be an amazing computer for the price. With the next one, we have one from Amazon. This one is the Nebula PC. It has the i3-12100F, which is slightly worse than the i5-12400 from the last PC, and yes, the last PC is cheaper, but here you get the RTX 3050, which is the main difference. It's going to be better than any of the graphics card I've mentioned that you can put on the last PC, especially the Intel Arc A380, which is the standard graphics card from the Big Tooth 15L. Also, with the RTX 3050, you get 8 gigs of VRAM, which is kind of the sweet spot for 1080p gaming, and then you get 500 gigs of NVMe SSD and 16 gigs of RAM already installed in your system. I also really love the look of the Nebula with that 4-mesh panel, 4 pre-installed fans. For $800, I think that it's a great deal, and you're gonna get a really good 1080p gaming performance. So let's say you wanna play games like Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 5, and also hard demanding titles at 1080p, this one is a great option. However, I highly recommend you checking your favorite game with the RTX 3050 test to see the estimated performance of this system. With the next one, we have a much more complete PC. It's another Big Tooth 15L, but this time it's upgraded, and you get the Ryzen 7 5700G, which is not a huge difference from the i5-12400, but then you get the RX 6600 XT. This one is the best GPU I've mentioned so far. You can also play at 1440p resolution, so if you want a 1440p 144Hz monitor, this one is definitely the one to go with if you don't want to go above $1,000. And I will talk about a discount code in a second again. You get 16 gigs of RAM, 1TB of hard drive, and 500 gigs of SSD, so here you get the most storage and the best performance overall. For 1080p, there's no game that you can't run at really high FPS with the RX 6600 XT. With the RX 6600 XT, and like I mentioned before, 1440p is definitely possible, and you can run almost every single game at 1440p 60 plus FPS on average with no issues, but it's going to depend on the title and the settings. And if we are talking about esports titles, like I mentioned before, CSGO, Valorant, and this type of games, at 1440p you can achieve more than 144 FPS, making it possible for you to buy a high refresh rate 1440p monitor. Now the total price is $980, but after the same coupon code that's in the video description, it's gonna cost you $931, which is actually an insane price for this type of Prebuilt PC. With the next one, we have a more expensive one in the Skytech Nebula, but this time is from the Skytech website, and you get the i5-12400F, basically the same CPU as the other ones, really similar in terms of performance. You will not notice a difference between the Ryzen 7 one, the i5-12400, and just slightly better than the i3-12100F. But here the main difference, you get the latest RTX 4070. You also get 16 gigs of RAM and a terabyte of SSD, but the RTX 4070 is a beast of a 1440p GPU. If you are planning on playing at 1080p, I think you will be overspending here. I believe the last Big Tooth 15L with the RX 6600 XT is going to be more than enough for any title at 1080p, but if you want to play at 1440p and you want the highest FPS possible for the price, just for $1,400, which is on sale right now, you're gonna get that. Another thing that is nice is that because you get the RTX 4070, you get 12 gigs of VRAM, which is actually a nice to have when talking about 1440p on the latest AAA titles. If you don't know what VRAM is, don't worry about it, but just so you know, having the 4070 for 1440p is actually a really nice component for the price of just $1,400. And I say just because on the Prebuilt PC market it's not easy to find these type of deals at this price. Of course, if you want to build it yourself, you're gonna get a cheaper PC, but if you don't want to build it yourself and you want a Prebuilt PC, this is your best option for the price by far. With the next one, we have one from Amazon in the Kronos PC. Here you get a better CPU, finally, the Ryzen 7 5800X, and then you get the RTX 4070 Ti. This one is not the same as the 4070. I currently have it on my PC, the 4070 Ti, and trust me, it's going to give you an amazing 1440p performance and also 4K. So if you want to start playing at 4K, the 4070 Ti actually does an amazing job for the price. And by the way, the total price for this system is $1,900, which is not cheap, but for a 4070 Ti and a Ryzen 7 5800X, honestly, it makes sense. You also get a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler for the CPU, which is not necessary, but it's nice to have. Maybe down the line you want to switch to a more power-hungry CPU like the Ryzen 9 5900X or Ryzen 9 7900X if you want to change everything, and a 360 liquid cooler will help you out. You also get a terabyte of SSD and 16 gigs of RAM, but the main difference on this system was the RTX 4070 Ti. I actually have a benchmarks video for the 4070 Ti in different titles, and then I have an extra video of the performance for Hogwarts Legacy, so you can go ahead and watch those videos in the top right of the screen for you to see the estimated performance of this Kronos PC. With the next one, and we have the number 2 on the list, is the Kronos 2 from the Skytech website. Here you get the latest Ryzen 7 7700X from the AM5 platform, and you get the RX 7900 XTX. The total price for this system is $2,500, and basically you're getting a great 4K PC. The RX 7900 XTX is the best GPU from AMD, so you're gonna get great performance at 4K. There's no game that you can't run high FPS, ultra settings. So honestly, at this price point, even though it's a lot of money, you are getting a lot of performance. You also get 32 gigs of DDR5 memory instead of the typical 16 gigs, and again a 360 all-in-one liquid cooler. Since you get the Ryzen 7 7700X, you get the AM5 platform, and if you're new to PCs, this is a new platform and you will be able to upgrade your CPU for years down the line with the newer AMD CPUs coming soon. And if you want the best performance, I recommend you buying the Omen 45L. This one is the best PC by far for the price. You get the i9 13900K, which is the latest i9 on the market, and quite frankly one of the best CPUs that you can get for gaming and also for content creation, if not the best. And then you get the RTX 4090, which is the best GPU on the market without a doubt. It's gonna be much better than the RX 7900 XTX, so you will be getting the highest FPS possible on the whole market. So yes, your favorite title at 4K ultra settings, you will be able to achieve the highest FPS, and the best part is that the price is actually good for the type of PC that you're getting. It's $3,150, but after the coupon code, once again, that you will have in the description, this one is different, you get a 10% off, so you end up paying $2,835 for a PC with the i9 13900K and the RTX 4090. For me, this is an insane deal. If you want the best of the best and you have around $3,000, it's a no-brainer. Trust me, you will not be disappointed if you buy this system at this price point. The only thing that I don't like about this system is that it comes with 16 gigs of RAM, but this is really easy to upgrade. I recommend you buying some extra RAM and having 32 gigs. It's not going to be expensive at all, so if you do that, instead of $2,835 that you pay for the whole system, you will end up paying $2,850 or something like that. So I highly recommend you doing that. If you don't want to, it's fine, you can always do it down the line. And here you also get a terabyte of SSD and a terabyte of hard drive, so you get enough storage. Last year I've tested a 45L myself with different specifications, and trust me, this one is going to perform much better. But if you're interested to see how my 45L perform at 1440p, you will have that video in the top right of the screen, and I tell you, it performs amazing, so you will not be disappointed. I think this is the best Prebuilt PC on the market if it stays at this price point. We all know that buying a PC build is going to be cheaper and will give you more performance. For that reason, you can watch my video about the top 3 PC builds of the month, where I go over 3 different budgets, and if you're willing to build it yourself, you are going to get an amazing performance for a cheap price. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.